All right, what's going on, guys? It's Justin again. Just got out of max lower training tonight, and happy to say it went a lot better than I anticipated. I turned it up a little bit, turned up the intensity, turned up the volume, just to kind of see how I would respond. So far, so good. I felt okay, just a little bit more fatigued than I normally would be. The weights felt just a tad bit heavier, but that could be, that could be from a number of things. But all in all, I think it was a good day. And I'll post the sets and the training following this video. So, damn, that sounds brutal. Today I'm gonna go over a question that I got, which is kind of cool. This is a question coming from Strength Hacks Coaching, who had asked, let me read it here. It says, how do you program your repetition effort work? How many movements do you usually do, and how do you plan progression on them? Okay, good question. And for those that don't really know too much about conjugate, a lot of people just assume that it is speed work and max effort work, which the majority of the time it really is, but there is also a repetition method that is woven in throughout the training cycle, which is anywhere up to for a year to 4 years. So a little bit about what is repetition method. Repetition method is where you will cycle it out in lieu of dynamic work or even max effort work, and you do repetitions as your main movement. So as an example, you would do I normally cycle it out of my dynamic upper, and I'll get to that in a minute. But you would usually do, there's several different ways that you can actually handle it. One way is doing 3-week wave of 6x6, 8x8, and 10x10. And another way would be benching by time, by number of reps, and so forth. So how do I program it? Well, exactly like that. Usually I will cycle those repetition method in twice a year, maybe 3 times a year, just to kind of break up the monotony of speed work. I will usually put it in, and I will do one of those types of volume training. So I'll usually do flat bench, straight bar, straight weight, 6x6 one week where it's a little bit heavier. The next week I'll drop the weight and do 8x8. The next week, again, drop in the weight and do 10x10. And I'll usually track it by just how much weight did I use, how did it really feel. I really don't go on the RPE scale. I'll just kind of figure, okay, well, I did 225, 8 sets of 8, and that felt pretty good. I could have probably have done 9 sets of 8, or whatever the case may be. I'll log it that way. So the next time I'll go at it, I'll try to match that or better it. But one of the other ways that I usually found is really, really, really good is doing dumbbell presses for max reps. So what that means is that you take a moderately heavy dumbbell, and you do one set, as many as you possibly can. And that really means going to failure, going beyond failure, right? So if you take 100-pound dumbbells and let's say you go to 20 relatively fairly easily, try to get another one and another one and another one and another one until you really just can't get any more out of it. So then you rest about 5 or 6 minutes, and then you go again, as many as you possibly can. Then you rest for 6 minutes, and then you go again. So 3 sets for as many reps as possible, and then you're going to log the reps. So I think that my best, I was doing that a lot over the pandemic in my garage. I didn't have a whole lot to work with, so I had 100-pound dumbbells and I had 65-pound dumbbells, so I was doing that. And I think my best was, I think 27 reps, 22 reps, and 15 reps with the 100 pounds. So I would log it that way, and that's how you keep track of it. So again, I would just do it in place of dynamic work. I really didn't swap it out a whole lot for max effort work, just because So now what is the repetition method as described by Louis Simmons and the West Side Barbell is more or less, again, just to kind of break it up, get some high volume, get some blood in there. And how Louis describes it is really kind of building muscle tissue. And I somewhat disagree with that, because I think that, you know, maybe as a beginner or to an intermediate, that might have a good benefit and carry over to that exact purpose of building muscle tissue. But I think somebody for like advanced lifters that he really deals with, I really don't think that I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that it's really for building muscle. Maybe working the tendons, you know, getting a little bit different of a stimulation through the muscle, through the tendons might be a better way. But that's how at least he describes it. I would really program it for a beginner specifically to build some of that muscle, get some of that time under tension and so forth. But yeah, I mean, going back to your question, that's how I program it a couple of times a year. I will not do it for lower. I will not do squats for repetitions. I will definitely do not do it for deadlifts. I think it's just far too taxing. I don't think the carryover and the benefit is that great for the amount of work that goes into it. I'd rather do some variation of the deadlift or the squat for high set, high reps. Maybe I would do a Dimmel deadlift, which is explosive deadlifts, for maybe like 3 to 5 sets of 10 to 15 or 20. Get more out of that. But definitely wouldn't do the standard repetition work in lower. I would just do it for upper. But that's it. I hope that answers your question. I hope you get a little bit out of that. And if anybody else has any questions, just feel free to toss them at the bottom of the in the comments. I'll try to answer it. I mean, I will answer it, right? I mean, I think it's kind of cool. I could talk about this stuff all day. And, you know, like I said, I hope you guys got something out of it. And, you know, look forward to the next question. All right, guys, have a good night.